Hi everyone, my name is Chloe. Every day, police investigate an array of crimes. A lot of them eventually are solved, and some are unsolved. Although unsolved, there are always theories that make sense. However, there are incidences that are so strange, even police question their sanity. This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass. On February 2nd, 1959, a group of 9 hikers consisting of 2 females and 7 males set off on a 14-day expedition exploring the Ortortin Mountain in Russia. The team was led by a man named Igor Dyatlov, which this incident would be named after. The team was supposed to send a telegram to their families once they had arrived to their desired location. However, they did not. Then on February 21st, investigators and a search team descended upon the snowy mountain to find the hikers. On February 26th, investigators found the hikers' tent. Upon further investigation of the scene, investigators found the hikers' tent cut open from the inside. This suggested that the hikers were so spooked by something they cut their tent open and fled. All of the hikers' belongings were found at the scene, including their clothes, shoes, and skis. However, all of this was found except for the hikers themselves. Then on February 27th, the first 2 hikers were found about 1.5 kilometers from the tree line, so right here. The 2 deceased hikers were found laying side by side, not wearing anything but their underwear. Upon further investigation, investigators found that the 2 hikers had abrasions and bruises all over them. The strangest part was police found the hikers' hands badly mutilated, and they also found flesh on the trees close by. This suggested that the hikers were so terrified of something they almost shredded their hands apart in an attempt to climb the tree. Later that day, 3 more of the hikers were found. It was found that one of the hikers' skull was cracked, and 3 of the hikers had injuries that were internally with no outward trauma. The strangest part about these hikers was that their autopsy found that their injuries were of a person that had been hit by a car. The examiner stated that the hikers were hit by a force so hard it was impossible to be caused by a human. He labeled this as an unknown non-human force. At this time, they had determined that the 5 hikers had died from hypothermia despite their injuries. The last 4 hikers were found on May 5th, 1959. The last remaining all had crushed insides, suggesting a powerful force had hit them as well. However, the strangest part was 2 of the hikers did not have their eyes, and one of them had their tongue torn out. Also, adding more weirdness to the case, the hikers' clothes were found to be radioactive. Police were stunned by their findings and were left with many questions. However, before they could do more research, Soviet officials strangely got involved and forced them to close the case. Now, here are some theories people have come up with. The first theory is the avalanche theory. This explains the tent being cut open from the inside because they were in a panic to flee. This also explains the hypothermia, and this could also explain why 2 of the hikers were found with no clothes, because they could have experienced something called paradoxal undressing. Paradoxal undressing is when hypothermia people remove their clothes because they feel as if they are on fire. However, this does not explain the radiation found and why 2 of the hikers had no tongue and no eyes. Lastly is my favorite, the alien theory. A day before the hikers had left in the town close by, the townspeople reported seeing strange orange spheres in the sky that had no explanation. This theory could explain the radiation, the inhuman trauma, reason there was no evidence at the scene, and why the hikers cut their tent open. Strangely, when the lead investigator was asked about the incident, he was quoted saying that at the time he suspected the strange lights had something to do with the hikers. However, after Soviet officials got involved, he's now sure they did. Only a few weeks after the last 4 hikers were found, the case was closed and the hikers' demise was put as done by an unknown compelling force. Thank you.
Jeez.